Good morning, John. It's Thursday. I forget how they intro it, and probably isn't my shouldn't be my realm either. Good morning, Zane, Zaid, and Zeta. Those are my vlog siblings, I guess. Uh, and it's not morning either, so can't say good morning either, really. But you might be wondering what my impersonation is. It's not really me impersonating them, I guess. It's just doing what they do on their Vlogbrothers channels a little bit. It's gonna be, less put together, I guess is the word. Um, but what I wanted to talk about was basically this process that I'm gonna term uh, societal recycling, or maybe even internet recycling. Maybe that's a sub branch of it. But I think kind of what I want to focus on is how these pieces of media or literature or whatever else, pieces of physical physical society, so trends, things like that, how it gets brought back. And I think a big example of that right now is Dexter clips. I've been seeing a lot of Dexter clips get re put into the algorithm, or people using that. You see that one dog that's super chill and doesn't care about anything, but it has like the Dexter monologue about it's so easy for people to connect, and then which I think is funny. I think the dog that's chill, and then there's the guy that looks like the dog, that uh he's impersonating the dog. But it's you probably, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this doesn't make any sense to you. But that's not the point. Why it gets brought back is because Dexter got released to Netflix, so people get brought towards it through Netflix, and then they're like, "Oh, this is it's a popular piece of media, fiction, whatever," and then they bring it and they plop it, and they're like, "Whoa, let's make something new with this," because they're just recycling this old thing that people have put a decent bit of time into, and just spitting it out. I'm not spitting it out, but just putting it here, modifying it, tweaking it, adding a dog that's super chill to it, and posting it on the internet. And they get lots of likes and whatever. Which I think it's a very strange phenomenon that happens in our society, where you know we could be not done with a piece of whatever it is, but then 10, like least, that's least, but like even 50 years ago, we can bring it back into this popular new uh, trend or fashion, or however it is. I think that also happens a lot with fashion. Is nothing really ever goes out of style. You hear that a lot, or if it's coming back into style. That's not really what happens. It something new comes along and replaces it. So it's kind of just overlayers it. But then eventually it'll get peeled back, and then it's all the rage nowadays. So that's another example, I think, of that. Another example, I think, is the Henry Danger. It's got renewed, I think, for a new season, or he's like Henry Hart. What's his name? Josh Norman. He's reprising his role as Henry Hart in not a redo, in is it a reboot? I think it's a new story. They're iCarlying Henry Danger, I think, on Paramount. And so they're finding all these Henry Danger clips, and it's like I mean, this it's not gonna be relevant again, because it's gonna be move its way out, because it moves very quick. But this trend happens all the time, where it gets something, brings it back into the limelight, or maybe not, indirectly it gets brought up. So added to Netflix, it's getting a reboot. uh, Things in sports, like maybe Auburn and Alabama are playing this weekend, so they'll post the field goal kick that they returned for a touchdown. Auburn's gonna win the football game. I forget what the game name of that one's called. It's not like the miracle kick, but like things like that. There's an indirect uh, event that directly recycles an old piece of media subject, something, and it gets brought back, and then people will modify it and branch it out. It's almost like a seasonal growth for roots of a plant, where as winter goes, it'll slow down, and then springtime, boom, it'll spread some more. Maybe not roots, but the winter growth and the summer growth of the tree bark, the rings. That's how it works. Is that the winter widths of the circles are very small, and then comparatively to the what is it called? It's not summer growth, summer wood, something like that. But they're a lot more because they're growing a lot more since it's not as cold and they have their leaves, and so they grow more. And as it gets brought into the limelight, branches out, and then they do that and do that, and then it fades away, and then that was just a piece of it, and eventually, or maybe not, it's the divergence, the cycle, apoptosis, or into interphase and G1S, whatever else, uh, it'll just fade away. But I think it's a very interesting little phenomenon that happens in human society. And yeah, I think that's just all I wanted to discuss. There's probably some actual scientific name for this term than cultural recycling, but I think it's a very interesting little uh, tadbit. I don't know if tadbit's the correct word, but hopefully or maybe not hopefully, but maybe you'll recognize this and you're like, oh, maybe I'll call your attention to it, and you can comment on this video. Boom. How about that? Plug the video right there. But yeah, you probably didn't make it this far, but that was my Hank Green / John Green impersonation, where I talk about something I find funny or cool, like they do, the Vlog Brothers. But shout out to Hank Green and John Green. Very, very helpful stuff they do. I enjoy the Vlog Brother channel. Real chill stuff over there. Which they don't need my shout out, obviously. But thank you for watching.